Or we
Hey,
can
Jen.
go down to the hotel and say, hey, he's, what,
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for being here. The City Council of the City of Gun Barrel City will meet in a regular meeting in City Hall Council Chambers located at 1716 West Main Street, Gun Barrel City, Texas, on Tuesday, June 23rd, 2026 at 6:30 p.m. I now call this meeting to order. If you are able to, please rise for the invocation and the Pledge of Allegiance. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for the privilege to live in another day. Thank you for this night, these citizens, these board members, and all of our city employees and first responders. Give us wisdom, patience, and clarity as we go about our city's business. In Jesus' name, we always pray. Amen.
Amen.
The pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You may be seated. I will now establish a quorum and a roll call from my left, please.
Burns here.
Lander here.
Jacob's here?
Proper here. Edwards here.
We have a quorum. Citizens' communications. This is limited to 3 minutes. Pursuant to Texas Government Code Section 551.007, members of the public may speak on any topic. Comments are limited to 3 minutes, and no action may be taken by the council. Any response from a member of the city council to non-agenda comments is limited to a statement of specific factual information, a recitation of existing policy, or direction to staff for follow-up. We have some citizens' comments. Our first one is from Cindy Key. Cindy, if you'll please approach the podium.
Council, Mr. Mayor, thank you. I'm Cindy Keith, 312 Canoe Court. I decided to speak tonight because it'll be the last city council meeting with Angie. And it's been a pleasure getting acquainted with you and with Amy. And I may not agree with everything you've done, but I don't agree 100% with anyone. Ask Reiki. One of our Gun Barrel City keyboard instigators wrote that she hoped she was instrumental in your leaving. I hope that's not true. That would just give those people more power, and they don't need it. It's just a handful of people stirring up trouble. And I'm going to miss you. I pray that you do well in your next chapter. I won't break into song, but I do wish you joy and happiness, and above all, love.
Thank you, Ms. Key. Next up will be Brandon Arthur from Encore. Brandon, if you'll please come to the podium.
Good evening, Mayor, council members. My name is Brandon Arthur. I'm with Encore Electric Delivery. I am the operations supervisor in Athens. My guys are the guys that you see in the bucket trucks that drive around here all the time. I take care of the poles and wires, keep the lights on, or they keep the lights on, excuse me. But I just wanted an opportunity to introduce myself. Victor Entreveros is the customer service executive here. Victor has a large area, so they've decided to split his area up. I'll be putting in for that position. I don't know if I'll get it or not, but if I do, I look forward to serving the community, hopefully as good as Victor's taking care of it. I look forward to building relationships and working with each and every one of you. And also, I'd like to introduce my wife, Shauna Arthur. Thank y'all.
Thank you, Brandon. Our last speaker tonight will be myself. I will speak as a resident. My name is Brian Crawley. I live at 111 Lost Forest Road, Gun Barrel City. I'm going to speak on a couple things. I wish this individual was here because they seem to hide all the time. behind a keyboard. But I'm going to make sure that I put all this on the record. The dog tax was never a tax. It was just a bunch of lies. It was all a bunch of misrepresentation of facts. There were other people that actually gathered some of those signatures. That makes that actually illegal. If we wanted to run through the court system and waste our money, we could do that. You'll see later how that's going to all rectify itself. There's no regard for the petition. They had like 240-something signatures. 40-something of those weren't even close. I mean, those people weren't even qualified to be even. And that just shows a total disregard for everything that a petition like that stands for. It's also an animal ordinance. It's not a dog tax. An animal ordinance deals with much more than just dogs. I mean, if you don't understand that, then I really can't help you. Also, this individual calls themselves Citizens First. Of course, they never answer any questions from citizens because they're able to do that by the gift of the keyboard. Their latest statement is the election was rigged. Okay, I am here by a song and a dance and a wing and a prayer. So all of you that voted for me feel disrespected because she doesn't respect you because this was all done illegally. It's a secret circle of people here in Gun Barrel, which is awful funny because none of us actually get to touch anything when you guys come and do your voting. But it's all become so ridiculous. I just can't. I can't sit by and deal with it anymore. The name calling, called one of my council people a witch, city manager a mismanager. I'm all hat, no cattle. That's my nickname. Stalked our city treasurer's backyard and grandson, our granddaughter. All of you citizens, by the way, every one of y'all here, y'all are all communists. I don't know if you knew that, but congratulations to all of y'all. Not once has city employees or council ever called this individual a name, but I will tell you this. Her real name is Janice Gail Cochran. You can call yourself whatever you want to call yourself, but you are who you are. Whatever name you go by, that's who you are. And I am tired of watching some of these towns around here get taken down by these people that are nothing but fear mongers. They have no substance. They have no regard for anything that goes on in small government, don't even know about government. When she was running, she thought she could veto everything. She doesn't even know how this works. This is a mayor weak, council strong government. But this is the type of stuff, and when these people can run amok, she has her own site. If she doesn't like what you say, now she's for the citizens. But if she doesn't like what you say, guess what happens on her unfiltered website? You get filtered because you're all communists. So if this is the people y'all want to saddle up with, God bless us that it is a free country. You're allowed to do that. But I am telling you, for the next 3 years, she posted on a very disturbing site. In fact, my pastor and several religious leaders were very disturbed and asked if I was all right. Some of the stuff she posted about me, about she's going to be my worst nightmare. Well, guess what? I'm here for 3 more years. So you get to deal with it. I am not going to stand by and watch innocent people be run through the mud. Dr. Smith is leaving of her own accord. She has family members and people that love her dearly and need her dearly right now. But I can tell you, for everybody else to fill boards and council positions and volunteers, it's very hard. And several people have said the reason they don't want to get involved is because of this particular person. And that's a shame. And I don't care what side you stand on. I don't care if you voted for me. This doesn't have anything to do with me. This has to do with Gun Barrel. This has never been about me. But if you're for right or wrong, I think that I, as a leader of this community, I needed to stand up and say something, and I needed to make it very, very clear for on the record, and I don't speak for council. Council speaks for themselves. All I do is I'm a glorified, face of the city. I don't vote. I don't do anything. But I will not stand by in a place that I love, that I live, and people that I care about deeply and watch them run through the mud by somebody who has not only done this here, did this in Indiana where she was from, where she told people how to raise their kids. She's done this in Bedford. She's done this everywhere she's been, and there's several communities. I won't go into it. Why do you think she's not in those communities anymore? I'll give you a really good reason, but I'm not standing by anymore for any of that. I'm sorry that I've taken up so much of your time. I'm usually much more positive than this. I will continue to be so, but sometimes you got to meet fire with fire, and like I said, I care about this place more than you know. I will not see it run in the ground anymore. Thank you. Consent agenda. All matters listed under consent agenda are considered to be routine by the City Council and will be enacted by one motion. There will not be separate discussion of these items. If discussion is desired, that item will be removed from the consent agenda and will be considered separately. Consider approving the following. 6A, May 12th, 2026, special meeting minutes. May 27th, 2026, regular meeting minutes. 6C, EDC, April 2026 financials. 6D, I got a drink before these. Chapter 70, ordinance number O-2026-028, an ordinance of the City Council for the City of Gun Barrel City, Texas, amending Chapter 70, general provisions of the Gun Barrel City Code of Ordinances, providing a severability clause, providing a repealer clause, and providing an effective date. 6E, Chapter 71, ordinance number O-2026-029, an ordinance of the City Council for the City of Gun Barrel City, Texas, amending Chapter 71, traffic rules of the Gun Barrel City Code of Ordinances, providing a severability clause, providing a repealer clause, and providing an effective date. 6F, Chapter 72, ordinance number O-2026-030, an ordinance of the City Council for the City of Gun Barrel City, Texas, amending Chapter 72, parking regulations of the Gun Barrel City Code of Ordinances, providing a severability clause, providing a repealer clause, and providing an effective date. 6G, Chapter 73, ordinance number O-2026-031, an ordinance of the City Council for the City of Gun Barrel City, Texas, amending Chapter 73, traffic schedules of the Gun Barrel City Code of Ordinances, providing a severability clause, providing a repealer clause, and providing an effective date. 6H, Chapter 75, ordinance number O-2026-032, an ordinance of the City Council for the City of Gun Barrel City, Texas, amending Chapter 75, towing and wrecker services, regulations of the Gun Barrel City Code of Ordinances, providing a severability clause, providing a repealer clause, and providing an effective date. 6I, Chapter 91, ordinance number O-2026-033, an ordinance of the City Council for the City of Gun Barrel City, Texas, amending Chapter 91, fire prevention, fireworks of the Gun Barrel City Code of Ordinances, providing a severability clause, providing a repealer clause, and providing an effective date. 6J, Chapter 92, ordinance number O-2026-034, an ordinance of the City Council for the City of Gun Barrel City, Texas, amending Chapter 92, health and sanitation of the Gun Barrel City Code of Ordinances, providing a severability clause, providing a repealer clause, and providing an effective date. I got through that, didn't I?
You did.
I know, that's crazy. Sorry y'all had to listen to me like that. Do I have a motion?
I move that we accept the consent agenda as is.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Burns, second.
I have a motion and a second. Vote for my left, please.
Burns, yes.
Lander, yes.
Jacobs, yes.
Proper, yes.
Edwards, yes.
Motion passes. 7A, new business. A presentation of quarterly department reports, including Fire Department, our Fire Chief Colby McBride, Streets and Parks, our Superintendent Mike Howell, and Community Engagement, none other than Brooke Atkinson Harrell. See, I got both in. Our first up will be our Fire Chief Colby McBride. by the way, I don't know if you all have seen it, but y'all need to go by. The new fire station looks absolutely amazing. The paint job is really, really nice.
Thank you. All right, so on our quarterly meeting, it's going to be from March to May. The breakdown is just going to show our quarterly calls. I didn't notice until this afternoon, the top got cut off on our fire calls, which are going to be 32 fire incidents, with 6 of them being structure fires. And that's going to be related to room and content, to the whole house, or it could be cooking, you know, the stove or just the kitchen in it. And breakdown from there, you know, medicals are always going to be our highest call volume that we run every month. Rescues, we've been fortunate with no water rescues in the last few weeks. Hopefully we can hold that out through to July. Then just the non-emergency calls like illegal burns or public assist, list assist, helping somebody up that needs it or into their house. Next slide. And through the quarter here, we've done 47 occupancies, businesses in town, pre-plans, inspections. And all those are going into our first due program that are in our trucks. That way we get a call to that occupancy. All the information will pop up to us for that occupancy to respond to. That way we know what we're getting when we get there, the floor plans, who the owner is to contact if we need them. The next one. And for this year, we have done 103 so far, just a little bit of information, a little further than the quarter, but there's 103 that we have completed down Main Street so far. And of those 103, we have now got up to 362 code violations that we're having to go back to each one of these places that have failed and follow up with them, helping them get in compliance to meet our fire code. Another, on the next slide, it's just a fun little fact to kind of show what our guys do every morning, the personnel, when they come in. And from checking the trucks out to the air packs and so forth, making sure the equipment's ready to respond. Has oil in them, windshield wiper fluid, hoses on it, water's in the tank, ready to go. There's 1,418 different inspections that they have completed so far in the quarter. So that's documented now that we can back up and show that they have physically touched and done each one of those and clicked the box for it. And here's a picture of the training that they did on the active shooter training with the Henderson County and all the other law enforcement agencies. We sent a few of our guys over to help out. That way, if there's an incident at the school or a movie theater, they know how to respond to it. And this one's going to be our live burns that we did a couple weeks ago, where we sent our personnel through live fire training, just let them work together, get hands-on. We worked with Maybank and Kemp also, which it helps out with our ISO rating that we have to maintain. And is there any questions?
If done, I'm going to toot your horn again. I know I sound like a cheerleader. I'm called that a lot, but over there on Autumnwood, near where I live, heard a lot of sirens. Went by and spoke with that homeowner, and they were so impressed. There weren't many guys on hand to begin with, but the way they contained that fire, kept any other further damage from happening, was greatly appreciated. I mean, before some of the other units got there, your guys had done an incredible job. There was a couple of really nice, I think a 65 Mustang and an old bus, Volkswagen bus that the guy had restored. I mean, he had some really nice vintage cars in there. But the fact that the way you guys handled it, the way you handled them, we had nothing but high praise, and you know, you don't always hear the good stuff, and I get that it's not always popular. Bad news is much more popular to read about, but I want to make sure that you guys know that how proud we are to have each and every one of you, and what a fine representation of the city that you and your staff are, and you guys did just a really great job. I appreciate that.
Yes, sir. Thank you. That's another reason why they train so hard and put the hours they do in weekly and, 90-degree weather out there in a burn building, working together, training for instance like that. And that car was actually that gentleman's father's car that they were able to save that afternoon. So that was a heirloom to him. And so, but thank you.
Thank you again, Cole. Street and Parks Department quarterly update by none other than our superintendent, Michael Howe.
Evening, council and mayor. Good. I'm Street Superintendent Mike Howe, and I'm just going to do my quarterly report here for the past 3 months. And our equipment repair, we've been doing a lot of preventative maintenance on trucks and machinery. We also keep up with all our oil filter changes and lubes and things like that. Repairing a lot of lawnmowers that we have. We've got some older equipment, and we have to stay on top of everything that we do in the street department for the park and the street department as far as mowing. So we spend a lot of time on maintenance. And also, I'll move on to our asphalt street repair. We've repaired almost a half a mile of asphalt streets. We've taken some milling that we've got that we've taken off of some of the streets, ground it up. We sift it ourselves, and then we reuse it ourselves for the city to save the city some money from buying a lot of asphalt and things like that. So we've done 2,772 linear feet on some roads that were really bad, and we jumped on them. We grind them up, and we put them back down, put the base back down, water them, and then lay the milling on top and roll them in, and they'll last another 5 to 10 years. So that's what we're hoping for. We've done 150 feet of culverts, okay? Replacing some culverts and doing some ditching. We've ditched around 2,315 linear feet of ditching. So we've done a few blocks of a lot of ditching, trying to get some of this water that comes out of off of Kings Creek in this way and off the Harbor Point Road. That we used to have a lot of drainage problems and flooding on Harbor Point Road. That's all gone now. So the water's flowing for us. We filled 1,318 potholes in the last 3 months. So, and that's probably going to go up this next quarter. So we've been filling a lot more. I know we don't have a lot of money to repave the streets, but we're working on it, trying to take care of it ourselves. And our sign maintenance, we've replaced 19 damaged signs citywide that have been knocked down, bent, or ran over. And then we spent a few hours on after-storm cleanup the last 3 months. We spent about 321 man-hours cleaning trees, debris, and things like that that's laying around the city, that tree limbs have fallen and things like that. And then also, last month, April, we awarded the bid for Phase 3 of Harbor Point Road construction. And that was scheduled to begin June the 1st and be done by the 12th. It's done. If you drive up Harbor Point Road from here to the city limit sign, it's done, striped and everything. So new pavement all the way up. We're going to gradually start working on these main arterials. We're going to try to move over to Legendary on the next big phase. Try to get that one done. So we have some plans for the asphalting. And as you can see, the milling that we've done are some of these streets. The first slide there, on the left is the milling that we put down for a couple of streets that were really bad. The slide on the right is the base work that we're getting ready to redo ourselves and put some more milling on that street. We've got the base down. However, my big machine went down the other day and I'm kind of stalled right now, but we're working on it, getting it back up ourselves. So it's coming together. And then you can see the second phase of Harbor Point Road right there with the stripe on it. That's from the school on up to Commodore. So the pavement's looking real good and we're trying to stay on top of it. So any questions on the street department? Anybody?
How much of that milling do you have?
I've probably got 900 tons or so.
wow.
I have, every time they mill up a street for me on the asphalt companies, I say, bring the stuff to me, I'll take care of it. So
That's awesome.
that's what we've been using to build our base and everything with. So we recycle it and do it ourselves. So I've made I made a rig that we can take 2 backhoes and we can screen the milling, get the big chunks out, and all we have is the fine stuff. So that's what we use. So, any other questions on the street? Okay. I'm on Park Division. These poor guys are doing a great job in the park. They're also taking care of a lot of the mowing. They do the mowing for City Hall. They mow all the other areas that we need to, like the island over there on 198. They take care of that. They do daily trash pickup, and they're always busy mowing because it's tip of the mowing season right now. So they're always busy out there mowing. They mow City Hall, EMS, the police department, the dog kennels, and the island also, like I said. They just installed some new crepe myrtles that were donated by a tree company, and they planted those close to the butterfly garden. They look great. We ran some irrigation to them, put timers on them, so they're doing real well. And they're really, this crew of 4 is really staying on top of everything. They're getting the ball fields all ready for the summer league, for them playing ball every Friday. So a lot of people show up for the ball games. And then I want to mention the special project, the big blue chair in the park and the peace pole dedication. They are also got prepared for the fishing tournament that we had. If you'll pull up the slide, Janet, you'll see the big blue chair. You can see the crepe myrtles that we installed, and the dedication for the peace pole and the blue chair. And we really thank the park board and the beautification committee for pitching in with us on all that. They did a great job too on helping us kind of design the things that they wanted. As you can see, we've refurbished the horseshoe pits. Someone had mentioned they want to have a horseshoe tournament and a couple of outings here. I think the water department wanted to use the park to have a big outing for their staff and everything, and they wanted horseshoes, so we prepped up the horseshoe pits for them. And eventually I'd like to take a couple of those horseshoe pits and make beanbag spots for them so they can have beanbag tournaments also, which could be a double use. Other than that, the teams are practicing. They're getting ready for the summer league to start up for softball. And we're looking real well. The park, if you drive through it, I took someone through there today, a company out of Fort Worth, and we're showing them some of our streets, and also took them into the park, and they said, man, y'all have got a nice park, which I think we have one of the best parks in the county. So thank you, all the citizens and everyone that has worked hard on putting all this together. Any questions?
Mike, your staff does an incredible job. I also want to acknowledge Mr. Shelby is right here in the front row, Miss Young, the work that you guys have done. The whole park just looks amazing. I was there for the blue chair and the peace pole dedication. All the attention to detail is really it's a true tribute to all the hard work that and you don't have the largest staff. Let's be candid. And we're not even talking about the lawnmower races.
Right.
We had like 600 people there the other night. That's
Yes.
the craziest thing I've ever seen. But you guys do a great job with the whole Parks Board. The unity and the teamwork that you guys have done makes that. And we always used to say this, I know, it could have been the crown jewel. I believe it is the crown jewel now.
Believe it is, too.
Of our city, and I'm very, very proud of it. I know when I went to speak at the fishing tournament, I had 5 or 6 families come up to me and said, man, this is really a beautiful park and a beautiful place, and thanked us for having all that. So thanks for all you guys do. I know you guys do yeoman's work there. Thank you.
I'll pass that on to my crews. So we have one heck of a team down there in the street park department. And speaking of the lawnmower races, we're getting prepped for the big national races. They're going to be coming from all over the United States.
Yes, they
in
are.
October. So y'all be prepared for that coming in.
Got to be known for something, Mike.
Right.
Thank you, Mike. Next up, our Community Engagement Coordinator, Brooke Atkinson Harrell.
I'm going to go off script for a second and say that Mike and Paul and Casey also have been super helpful with everything with the community center. Casey comes by like almost every day to see if I need anything, and that they're doing a great job. I just had to add to that too because it's true. It's but anyway, tonight I'm going to be providing a brief overview of the community engagement activities for March through May. Which includes the updates for the community center, social media performance, website analytics, and community events. We're going to start at the community center. In March, we had an increase in activities happening at the community center. So we had staff training sessions, a retirement celebration for David Morrow, a 16th birthday party leadership class that was hosted in partnership with the Cedar Creek Lake Chamber of Commerce, a business rental that they hosted their employee training there, and we had our monthly Gun Barrel City chapter of the Chamber of Commerce meeting there. In April, we had the Free Naloxone pop-up. I was shocked and happy that how many people showed up and picked that up. It also got a lot of people in our building, so that was really awesome. And in May, we had the Brain Health Seminar with the AgriLife Extension out of Kaufman County. They came and gave a seminar. We had about 10 or 11 people show up for that. And then we had 2 Celebration of Lives. The United Way came and had hosted their allocations meeting, which actually brought in a lot of charities and charity groups into the building, and a lot of them came and talked to me afterwards. And so I was like, "Hey, if you want to do something here, let's talk about it." And I was able to make those connections, so that was really cool to have the United Way there. And then we had a 99th birthday celebration, and we've also been having the Football Association come. They've been hosting their meetings there, and their uniform fittings. So we've had a lot of kids going in and out, and they were playing basketball and all that stuff. So a lot of those things, they don't get counted in our check-ins. So there will be like 50 people in the building, but I don't check them in because they're not there to be a member. So the check-ins are members coming in to play pickleball or things of that nature. May, we were particularly busy in events and not so much in people playing pickleball, basketball, that sort of stuff. But then the day that school let out, kids were playing basketball. So I think it was just end of year and that sort of stuff. Next. Oh, and this is just some pictures from the last couple of months. I didn't get a picture of the United Way and kicking myself for it, but they said I could use their logo, so I did. For social media, our social media platforms continue to be one of our most effective communication tools. Between March and May, the city content reached more than 1.6 million homepages across all of our platforms, which is good. We maintain focus on public information, community events. We did a lot of stuff on the elections and getting election information out. Municipal court programs, which we saw some success with Grace and her court program. We did some public safety information and quality of life stuff. So this is our top performing posts for March. I just like to share these because it's good to see what is resonating with people. So one of them was the HTO opening, which was great for them and great for all of our community too. So having them that out there was really great. And then the our firefighters and their awards that they were given. It's always fun to get a picture of a firefighter or a police officer holding an award because they always love that. So because then I can answer the question and then they're like, oh. And I have also noticed some people commenting and then immediately deleting it, like, because they figured it out. So, and then the May's top post was most of it was elections, but the results was the highest one for that month. So, which is also good that people are interested in what's going on in our cities. This is just the highlights for March. I kind of, from the website, I kind of explained to you guys what all of these things are, but just so that you guys can see it again for March. And then for April and May. And this stuff kind of just sticks right along with what our social media is showing. For events, we had the municipal court. They launched their warrant resolution program, which provided residents an opportunity to address outstanding warrants and cases. We hosted our annual Easter egg hunt and welcomed another successful lawnmower racing event. In April, the city hosted the spring trash off, and we assisted by providing our parking lot for the beautification committee so that they could host their Great American Cleanup, and got rid of some unwanted materials and cleaned up our city. And again, continued hosting the lawnmower races and in the Naloxone, and as well as early voting in April, and where we'll be posting about all of those things. In May, another of the lawnmower races, Election Day, Brain Health, another Naloxone, which again brought a lot of people. And then we had the Big Blue Chair and the Peace Pole unveiling, which brought a great crowd. So it was really awesome. And also the AgriLife lady is coming back every month to do a different class, and she's already planning us out for January. So those classes I think are going to be a great asset for us. And then I am excited to share that the City of Gun Barrel City has received an award of excellence from the Texas Association of Municipal Information Officers, or TAMIO, for our municipal website. This award recognizes excellence in government communication and highlights our commitment to providing residents with transparent, accessible, and easy-to-use information online. And over the past 2 years, we have worked to transform our website into a true community resource, making it easier for residents to find services, access meeting information, submit online payments, view public notices, and stay informed about what's happening in their local government. And when I say that all of this took a team effort, I truly mean it. And while I may have been the person accepting the award at the conference, the recognition belongs to many people who contributed their time, expertise, feedback, and support along the way. So I want to recognize a couple of people on the website team, Chief Lindeman and David Morrow, who are both enjoying their retirement right now, with Angie Smith, Dr. Smith, Brittany Anderson, Captain Katsoulis, Grace Wallace, Chief Stevens, Mike Howell, and Paul Lyons, all for helping and build and maintain. They sat through every meeting with me and talked to the website people, and they were such a great help and part of the reason why it was, it works so well and is so beautiful. And a special thanks to Mickey and Rainey, while they weren't part of Mickey Rainey and Janet Dillard, who weren't part of the original website team, but they keep the website updated daily, so they are also super important that. And we have members of our community who helped review the website. Gilbert Shelby, who's here, Linda Rakin, Kate Weller, Ann Mullins, and Monica Damiano. They provided some of the best review that I got, and it was so helpful, and it really helped make us see how our residents are going to view our website. So that information was invaluable, so that that's why I'm mentioning them. So I just want to say that this award reflects the hard work of many people across our organization, community, and our city council, and it truly demonstrates what can be accomplished when we work together. I would like to take a picture, if we could, with everybody. So if the people that I named would like to come to the front with us, or in the mayor or anyone, so.
All of us?
All of us?
So while everybody's going down, everybody can go down to the front. If you participated in this process at all, while they're making their way, I'll come, but while you're making your way down there, the brevity of this award is TAMIO is the Texas Association of Municipal Information Officers. And we were in competition with the city of Arlington and the city of Bryan, city of Gun Barrel City. Brooke, can you help me? There were a couple more it's okay, I'm coming back up. Very large cities. And the fact that Gun Barrel was able to accomplish what they did with a very small team, a lot of help from Civic Plus, and Brooke orchestrating all of that in a role that she wasn't anybody's boss, but she just owned it and ran with it, is a task that most cities couldn't accomplish with twice as many people. So all of those people she named played a huge role. I'll stop talking and come up there.
Brian, smile.
The good news is Keith takes a lot of pictures that I have access to, so we know we got a good picture taker.
Yeah, normally I'm the one taking the picture, so. Oh, and if you have any questions for me, I'm.
Questions for staff? None. Thank you, Brooke.
Thank you.
I would
Next.
just like to say something before we move on.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
That's okay. In light of, your statement during citizens' comments, I think a lot of people feel the way that I do. I can walk in the door of City Hall feeling very frustrated and defeated, and some days I can really let all of the ugliness and the negativity really get to me. But when I come in here and I interact with every City Hall employee, I am proud and I am in awe. The positivity that you all maintain through everything is very inspiring, and every single month it keeps me going. I know that a lot of people that are sitting up here especially feel that exact same way. So I can never tell all of you thank you and that I'm proud of you enough. I can't say it enough. Y'all are the hardest working, best employees. I'm just, it blows me away. So thank you all.
Thank you, Ms. Thank you, Ms. Jacobs. That's extremely well said. I will echo that. 7B, a public hearing to discuss the unsafe structure located at 295 Ben Lacey in Gun Barrel City, Texas. I now open the public hearing. Is there anyone to speak on this matter? If none, I will now close the public hearing. 7C, we will consider and take action to determine whether the structure located at 295 Ben Lacey, Gun Barrel City, Texas, is considered unsafe. Speaking on this will be our building official, Mr. Shannon Wiggins.
Good evening. Code enforcement started working this case in March of '26 with the property owners. They're in agreement that it needs to come down, but do not have the financial means. So they wish for us to move forward with the demo, and they will pay us back. I don't know how they set it up, monthly or yearly, or once the property sells.
Questions for staff?
When you say pass back, like they will pay us back for the demolition?
They do. That's what they want to do, yes, sir.
Awesome.
Yeah. Sometimes it's after the property sells, and then we get our portion back if taxes are caught up. Taxes have to be paid first.
Right.
Just for clarification for council, we do have people that pay their liens. We file a lien regardless, but we had somebody come in today and worked with our code enforcement officer to pay off their lien. So people work that directly through our city secretary. We don't run a payment plan. We do file a lien on the property, and then they can work out to pay off said lien with Janet, who can then release the lien once it's paid. But we do have people that pay it, so.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Wiggins.
Thank you.
If no further discussion, do I have a motion?
I move that we adopt the order 295 Ben Lacey, making findings of fact and ordering the demolition of structures located at 295 Ben Lacey, Gun Barrel City, Texas.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Edwards, second.
I have a motion and a second.
D, this is 7C, just determine.
Thank you.
Jennifer, would you like to make a friendly amendment to your motion?
I would. I move we take action to determine that the structure at 295 Ben Lacey is considered unsafe.
We have a motion. Do I have a second?
Edwards, second.
A motion and a second. No further discussion. Vote for my left, please.
Burns, yes.
Lander, yes.
Jacobs, yes.
Proper yes.
Edwards, yes.
Motion passes. 7D, consider and take action to adopt Order 295 Ben Lacey, making findings of fact and ordering the demolition of structures located at 295 Ben Lacey, Gun Barrel City, Texas. I will now read into the record the order. Order 295 Ben Lacey, an order making findings of fact, finding certain buildings and structures within the city limits to be dilapidated, substandard, and unfit for human habitation, and a hazard to the public health, safety, and welfare of the city's residents, ordering the buildings and structures be abated and ordering the demolition thereof. Shannon has already spoke on this. Do I have a motion?
I motion to consider and take action to adopt Order 295 Ben Lacey, making findings of fact and ordering the demolition of structures located at 295 Ben Lacey, Gun Barrel City. Order 295 Ben Lacey, an order making findings of fact, finding certain buildings and structures within the city limits to be dilapidated, substandard, and unfit for human habitation, and a hazard to the public health, safety, and welfare of the city's residents, ordering the buildings and structures to be abated and ordering the demolition thereof.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Burns, second.
I have a motion and a second. No further discussion. Vote for my right, please.
Edwards, yes.
Proper yes.
Jacobs, yes.
Lander, yes.
Burns, yes.
Motion passes. 7E, presentation by City Secretary of certification of insufficiency of the referendum petition for resolution number R-2026-007 regarding application for SB 224 catalytic converter grant received from Petitioners Committee pursuant to Article 4 of the city charter. City Secretary Janet Dillard.
Thank you, Mayor. On June 5th, the Petitioners Committee submitted a referendum petition seeking to overturn Resolution R 2026-007. I completed a thorough review and formally certified that this petition is legally insufficient. The charter establishes statutory minimum of 200 signatures to be reconsidered by the City Council. The total number verified was 177. This certification serves as official notice that the referendum fails and Resolution R 2026-007 regarding a catalytic converter grant application remains in full effect as originally passed.
Thank you, Ms. Dillard. 7F, presentation by City Secretary of certification of sufficiency of the referendum petition for ordinance number O-2026-003 regarding animal control received from Petitioners Committee pursuant to Article 4 of the city charter. Our City Secretary, again, Janet Dillard, will speak on this.
Again, on June 5th, a separate referendum petition was filed seeking to overturn Ordinance 2026-003 regarding animal control. Following a review of the petition, 207 signatures were verified and the petition is legally sufficient. Upon receiving this sufficiency, the City Council is required to reconsider the challenged legislation and take action to either repeal the ordinance entirely or call for a special election and send it to the voters. Staff has drafted ordinance O-2026-027 if the council desires to repeal, or you may reject this ordinance and place this ballot measure on the next available uniform election date, which would be in November of this year.
Does council understand that?
Janet, can I get some clarity? They approved the ordinance first in the first motion.
No, you would either adopt it or reject it. The present, we need to move on to 7G to take action, I guess.
So on 7G, we consider and take action to adopt ordinance number O-2026-027, repealing ordinance number O-2026-003 regarding animal control, and we will either reject or send it to the voters in November.
So is that for discussion?
Janet, I'm sorry, I'm not trying to be hard-headed, but I need some clarity. So on 7G,
You could take action to adopt this ordinance, which would repeal the animal control ordinance, or reject.
And send it to the voters.
Choose to not approve this ordinance. Sorry, I guess
That goes
that's.
to the vote.
And then it would be sent to a special election.
So the action is to make a motion to approve ordinance number O-2026-027 or
deny.
deny ordinance which legally sends it to the voters in the November election.
Correct.
Thank you, sorry.
Sorry.
It's not your fault. I was having a hard time
Council
processing.
understand? Everybody clear? So when you make your motion,
And Mayor, you can have a discussion before you make a motion if you want, however you want to handle it.
do we need, I think we all kind of know where we stand on this.
I make a motion that we deny and that we send it to the people for a vote.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Edward, second.
I have a motion and a second. Vote for my left, please.
Burns, yes.
Lander, yes.
Jacobs, yes.
Appropriate.
Edwards, yes.
Does not pass, be up for an election. 7H, consider and take action to adopt ordinance number O-2026-025, amending the fiscal year 2025-2026 budget to include a fund balance of $25,000 and allocate those funds into the police department. Our sponsor on this will be our Mayor Pro Tem, April Burns. I will first read into the record the ordinance. Ordinance number O-2026-025, an ordinance of the City of Gun Barrel City, Texas, amending the fiscal year 2025-2026 budget so as to include a fund balance of $25,000 and allocate those funds into the police department and to provide an effective date. Ms. Burns?
Yes, I'm not here to, the building over at the police station he's asked for remodels for several years. And we just didn't have, I guess, the extra funds at the time. But this year we had extra funds from the 2020, our last budget that we had left over. And so I want to allocate $25,000. I do have some bids. I believe it will be for some electrical, some plumbing, some cabinets, that kind of stuff. But we're not here to approve the bid. I'm just here to allow $25,000 funds for the police department to make some renovations to the police department.
Thank you, Ms. Burns. Any discussion? Do I have a motion?
I motion to consider and take action to adopt ordinance number O-2026-025, amending the fiscal year 2025-2026 budget to include a fund balance of $25,000 and allocate those funds into the police department. Ordinance number O-2026-025, an ordinance of the Gun Barrel City, Texas, amending the fiscal year 2025-2026 budget so as to include a fund balance of $25,000 and allocate those funds into the police department and to provide them an effective date.
I have a motion and a second.
Burns, second.
Discussion? Vote for my left.
Burns, yes.
Lander, yes.
Jacobs, yes.
Appropriate, yes.
Edwards, yes.
Motion passes. 7I, consider and take action to spend up to $7,100 from the Capital Improvement Fund to remove mini splits and install a 2.5-ton HVAC unit at the Central Fire Station. Our sponsor on this will be Dr. Smith.
So council, I am going to turn this over to Chief McBride. This issue came up, just for some clarity, why this is on this item. About 2.5 weeks ago, Chief McBride was having some issues with heat in the building. Some of the rooms were 80 degrees when he would go in the afternoon. And at that point, it wasn't extremely hot. Chief McBride called me and said, hey, I got to do something. He told the guys, they started looking at the mini splits, got the mini splits down, got some pictures, and they were full of mold. So Chief McBride's immediate response was, we will install new mini splits. Well, he started doing some research, and that was not going to be the best option. And that's how this ended up on your agenda. We have the funding. This is a capital improvement project. We have the funding in the capital improvement budget, but it does have to come to council. So I am going to turn it over to him. He sent me pictures. I was blown away. It's just so humid. They're having a hard time balancing in that whole budget, in that whole building. And now they're doing a lot of remodel, but there still are some issues. So I'll punt it to, that's how this ended up on your agenda tonight. And why we haven't really had a discussion about it. Colby has been really working on this, and he only got one bid because we needed to have this conversation with council before I pushed him out to get two additional bids and have those replacement prices done. So this would be a not to exceed the one bid he already has. Go ahead, Chief.
Yeah, correct. I just consulted with somebody I knew to find out what the issue was going on in the building and how we could solve the problem, get rid of the mold, drop the humidity, bring the that it's at, fix it, and fix the temperatures in the rooms where it's more equal. And come to find out, the main unit's a 5-ton unit, and it is just maxed out. It runs 24/7. Definitely not energy efficient doing that. You can look at the vents, the condensation buildup on them, trying to keep up inside the building. So we drew a floor plan up of the station, and we went around and we started taking temperatures of the rooms. And you can look on the brochure that I sent y'all over it. And the AC was set at 72 degrees inside the building. It was 90 degrees that day. And the offices and bunk rooms were running at 81 to 79 degrees. And this was at 3 o'clock. So it wasn't even as hot as it's going to get that day. And with summer coming on, it's just going to get worse. And with the mold buildup, if we went back with mini splits in there, we're just going to have the same issue. And it's not going to solve the problem. We're still going to have a big fluctuation between rooms. And by adding a 2.5 ton unit, it's going to equal out the rooms because it's going to pull the offices off of the 5 ton unit and let it focus on the main part of the station. And the 2.5 ton unit will focus on the offices in the bunk room. So like Dr. Smith was saying, we just went ahead and just kind of found a solution to it. What's an idea ballpark it's going to cost to fix it? If y'all decide to fix it, we'll go out and get quotes from the vendors and find out what the exact cost is going to be. But we know it can be done in this price range.
Question for staff?
I think everybody should have a healthy working environment, so.
Absolutely.
Chief and I were blown away when he reached in there. They were going to clean the mini split, and he had already called and said, I'm going to buy mini splits. And I said, okay. And then
There was no cleaning it. It was, that's the problem. We just didn't want it to happen again. You know, that's why we're looking for a solution to the problem instead of just repeating it.
All right, well, if no further discussion, do I have a motion?
I move that we spend up to $7,100 from the capital improvement fund to remove the mini splits and install a 2.5 ton HVAC unit at the central fire station.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Proper second.
I have a motion and a second. No further discussion. Vote for my left, please.
Burns, yes.
Lander, yes.
Jacobs, yes.
Proper, yes.
Edwards, yes.
Motion passes. 7J, consider and take action to allow the city manager to execute an agreement for interim city manager / EDC director services with Strategic Government Resources, SGR. Our sponsor on this will be none other than our city manager, Dr. Smith.
there was a sample agreement in your packet. At the last council meeting, council gave me direction to start working on this. To find someone that could serve both as much like I did when I first started, just to get us through the hump, to serve as city manager, interim city manager, and interim EDC director while we accept applications and you begin your interview process for those two positions. This contract would be directly with SGR. I have spoken to a couple of different folks who are interested in doing this that were recruited by SGR. SGR will do their background check. SGR will do a full media check. It will be $90 an hour. We have kind of working with SGR, working with the candidate, kind of settled on 27 to 30 hours a week. They would be in office Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Available by phone at any time, obviously, but they are in an interim position. The top candidate that I've spoken to, and I would prefer not to put out there, but I'm happy to share with council and give you a copy of their resume. The top candidate has extensive experience in city management. He served in the past for the city of Wiley, the city of Lancaster, Prescott, Arizona. He has also EDC experience. He was an assistant director of an EDC, so he understands how boards and commissions work and how to keep Stephen, who's doing an amazing job, but does need assistance getting agendas done and stuff like that, financials, keeping all that on track. There will potentially be some housing. We're still working through what that looks like to have him here. He doesn't live here. None of the candidates lived very close. And so SGR is kind of known for doing this and kind of, they have a candidate pool. This candidate is 100% not interested in a long-term position. He is simply an interim. He has served as interim for, I believe, 4 prior cities, has helped place their city management candidate, their city manager over the last 5 years, and all of them are still in their position in council. So he has experience with that as well. He would be available as early as next week to spend a couple of days with me, and then to work with council however they so fit. But I did talk to him about both roles as city manager and as EDC director. It would be a city manager title taking on both of those duties, much like I'm doing today, where it's not a dual title, it's a city manager title helping in both areas. So council would provide him direction. We could call a special meeting. He could work with the mayor and the mayor pro tem. I'm leaving him a long list. So far, that document's about 6 pages of things that we have going on. As you know, we have a lot going on. We have ordinances coming up. We have a lot of stuff going on, the community center projects. So he'll have his hands full, just keeping those things moving in the right direction. Some projects over at the EDC, things like that. So this would just allow me to sign that agreement with SGR. It is a 1099 position. We pay SGR. SGR contracts directly with him, but they also will do a media search and background check. We'll be responsible for doing a drug test, but other than that, so.
And we only pay him for the hours he works. So
We pay-
hypothetically, if he didn't make it in one day for some reason.
Absolutely not. He would do a timesheet. That timesheet would be submitted to your city treasurer. I don't know that I've told her that yet. The timesheet would be submitted to your city treasurer. She would sign off on it, send it to SGR. We pay for the hours he is here. Now, if something comes up and you guys need him for any reason, if council needs him, you will have access to him. And he's happy. He and I have talked about that. You know, sometimes council has questions. He'll document that time if it's significant. If it's a quick question, you're probably not ever going to see that. But if it's significant time that takes on a project, he would be happy to help in any way. So it's billed hour for hour. So if he's here for 24 hours, that's what we're going to be billed for. We have enough funding between what's left over for me and for Charles at the EDC to be able to do through October the 1st with no problem at the 27 to 30 hours a week plus whatever. So
You've kind of worked out how much is that's the city
Yes.
and how much is coming
yeah,
from the EDC.
Mickey is working through that. So and we've pulled both of them. We've been able to get pretty good financials on the EDC, on payroll and such. So to not hurt either organization and to ensure we can keep the lights on at both of them. So
How long is the vetting process at SGR? Like how long? You said there was 3 candidates?
there were roughly 3. They have a
Well, they have a
pool.
plethora, yeah.
SGR has a giant pool of candidates. They find some that are close for us that really have a skill set that we need. My focus was on leadership, right? Anybody that sat in my seat can do the job. That's not a problem interim, but having the right leadership team to continue to work with council and build that relationship is very important. And that's what I asked them to do. So they provided me with several candidates right off. One, we also had some external candidates outside of SGR that I visited with as well that I know. But we ended up with several that I think 2 that I actually had a phone interview with late last week. And then I narrowed that down to 1 and had that conversation. And I sent all of council some of their skills I will share. Once I've had a conversation with them and we've signed this agreement, then I will share that with council as well. But they really are interested in an interim position and helping keep things moving.
And then a 2-week notice to end the contract.
Absolutely. So thank you, April. If for any reason you are not happy with this person, it's 14 days. You notify SGR. Mickey could notify SGR for you. They can bring in another candidate or you can move forward. They know this is a temporary. So the minute you start doing interviews, most folks in a position to come here are going to probably have to give, if they're a city manager anywhere, they're going to have to give 30 days notice unless the council lets them out early. For sure, all will give 2 weeks. That way, if you're not happy with the services or you find a candidate, then you have that. And so we have a process mapped out for both positions. We are gathering applications, keeping a running tally. Those are all sitting on the city manager's desk. Council could come by and look at those. And I've made some notes of some things on the front. So, but we have the process kind of all mapped out and just trying to get some great applications before we start having any type of review. And Janet will arrange those meetings as we get into that, to set those up for y'all to do that as a team, because it is a decision of the whole council.
That's what I was trying to get at, because I just want to make sure that we're all involved in picking of the interim, if we could take the suggestion from SGR and then, move.
So what council gave me permission to do at the last meeting was select the interim, and then council will select the permanent placement.
Correct.
Got it.
That's what SGR does, is they have people who are interims, and that's what they
Yeah.
do. It's only going to be here for a short period of time. So just to keep us, like she said, keep the doors open and keep us going,
Keep
what I'm
accepting
saying?
applications and keep,
Yeah, and then we'll be heavily involved in that process of the city.
got
It's
it.
such a process to get 6 people all together to conduct interviews and have people come in person, and the cost associated with doing per diem while they're here and potentially overnight. I was able to, on Friday, conduct several interviews very quickly on the phone, and I have a lot of experience hiring folks. So I think you will be extremely happy with the candidate that we've selected, SGR and I have selected. And if you're not, in 14 days, they'll be happy to send you another one, or you guys can choose to put that ball into someone's court would be my recommendation if you're not happy, instead of 6 people trying to hire an interim, because that becomes very time consuming and laborious. So absolutely for your permanent replacement, you should do that. But for an interim position, that is really just making sure things continue and help you guys through the process of hiring. And this is one of the things that he does and that he's very, very good at. So.
All right, thank you, Dr. Smith. Do I have a motion?
I move that we allow the city manager to execute an agreement for the interim city manager / EDC director services with Strategic Government Resources.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Jacobs, second.
I have a motion and a second. If no further discussion, vote from my left, please.
Burns, yes.
Lander, yes.
Jacobs, yes.
Appropriate, yes.
Edwards, yes.
Motion passes. 7K, presentation and discussion on an ordinance related to defining dead trees which are hazardous to public facilities, including city buildings, sidewalks, easements, and street right-of-way, power lines, light poles, utility appurtenances. What the heck?
Don't make me say it.
Janet, do you put that up there just to watch me stutter? Or hazardous to surrounding houses and structures, or present an immediate danger to the residents of the property or adjacent property nuisance. I know we've had a series of those lately. Dr. Smith, you can speak to this, please.
I can. And I'm going to show you an example of this. So there's a picture on the next slide. But this has been a topic of conversation really between Mike Howell and I for a year, right? We have a lot of beautiful tree-covered roadways. And if it's just a limb hanging down, it was one of the very first conversations I ever had with the resident is, I need to get my motorhome down this road and all the trees are too little. Well, it's easy for us to trim a limb, right? That is not a huge ordeal. But sometimes we have dead trees that hang over and it's not enough to take down a limb. We are particularly having this issue right now on Harbor Point. With all the rain and the wind, our guys, you saw emergency recovery hours they spend. A lot of that is limb cleanup. But most recently, and our building official left, Shannon Wiggins came to me with a picture of a tree that was split right down the middle. And somebody happened to be driving by, they saw this tree, and we started going, wait a minute, now it's not city property. They are on private property. We really just can't bust up on private property, as y'all all know, and start taking pictures of people's trees down. This tree was obviously dead. It was split. This happened on a Thursday. We all had this conversation. We all talked about it. Shannon even stopped and talked to the resident. On Saturday, the tree fell. A limb this big fell into the roadway and someone hit it. They thought it was a bush. They hit it. And so that's when we started saying, wait a minute, how do we help solve this problem as a group? City isn't interested in going into people's yards and saying, oh, that tree's dead, that tree's dead. That is not the purpose of this. The purpose of this is, Janet, can you go to the next slide? We see a lot of this, and you can see there that there are healthy trees, but there are also very dead trees in that area. And we're happy to work with the homeowner. We're going to be looking for things like this that can fall on someone, that can cause us additional man hours. This is all private property. This is not city property. Even a ditch is not city property. It's on private property. Working with that homeowner to then find a way to get that taken down, right? If the homeowner is adamant that the tree is alive and they're not interested in doing that, then we will work with them through that. But there are a lot of cities that have tree ordinances like this that really allow us to deem that a nuisance. I wish we were Encore, right? We all know Encore, their trees get in their power lines and they just go down and take them down. A lot of times they're in their easement to do that. We don't have that kind of easement. The homeowner still maintains the easements we have. But we are seeing more and more situations where we are having issues. And our goal is to partner with the homeowner, just like we do on all other code issues. Not go in with a bat, but go in with a how do we help each other. But the city also doesn't have funding to go in and take down trees at $1,000 or $1,500 a piece, right? So it's going to have to be a partnership. Our building official, our streets superintendent and I have been working on this. And everybody handles it a little bit different. This particular city, the one where we got this ordinance, treated it more like a nuisance, right? Just like anything else that would be on your property. So it is about, Janet, will you go back? It is about defining dead trees which are hazardous to specific things, public facilities, including city buildings, sidewalks, easements, street right-of-way, power lines, light poles, utility, that word, or surrounding houses. So we could imagine your neighbor has a tree that you know is about to fall on your house. Legally, you can trim the stuff on your side, but that may not help. And so giving the city the ability with a code enforcement officer to work with our residents to help begin to address these issues so that we don't have a tree that ends up falling on someone or blocking a roadway or anything like that. This is just a discussion item tonight. We started figuring out this was a problem. It's not in any way to be approved. We're taking feedback. If council is comfortable with it, we'll continue working on it, bring it back. It needs to go to the attorney to find the right place. I put some sample language in there. Again, the intent is more to ensure we have help taking down trees on property we don't own, right? Absolutely. If one of these trees out here become a problem, that's city property, that's our responsibility. But right away is not city property, and we just can't go onto someone's property and start taking trees down.
I'd like to, I don't want to speak for council, but I'll speak for myself in that, again, I believe this is really, it's a safety issue. I mean, this is what this is. I don't want anybody to think we're big brother and everybody and taking over, because I can already hear the keyboard warriors now. But that's not what this is. This is a safety issue. And to ensure that, and if we can help the homeowners with this, I think that's a win-win for everybody. Because I saw, because it's on my way home, I saw the car that hit that, and it was not in good shape. And in the dark of night, that's very, 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 very dangerous. Completely totaled. Discussion?
Well, I mean, there are some changes I like to see and some things I don't necessarily agree with, but I can just send that information in.
Absolutely.
There's
Send
some
it.
changes I'd like to see a little bit differently and stuff.
Yeah.
But so you're just wanting to apply in a way that kind of how code does now with buildings, is that you're saying where we send the letter to them, but if they, in the end, if they don't do it, then you're saying that the city may
Do
pay
it.
someone to do it,
Absolutely.
and then they have to reimburse the city for the lien against
Yeah.
their property or something like that.
Absolutely. Think about, it could be an unsafe structure. It could be high grass. In some cases, we may have to go in and mow down high grass, and then, it's whatever that cost is then passed on to the resident in the form of a lien on their property. But yeah, if there is alternate language, please don't hesitate. Send that over. You can send it to me, whoever, even after I leave, I met with IT today, someone will have access to my email. And so that way it's more important to me that we get great language, but I don't want to just punt the ball forever, because we are in a time right now where dead trees are taking on a lot of water very quickly, and then we're having storms with wind, And that is when we see the highest issue. You can drive down, Mike and his team do an amazing job on our end of Harbor Point. But if you go right over the city limits, you can see where those limbs have fallen and they're pushed over to the side and some of them stick out. And so we just want to make sure that we have a process in place. But yeah, it would be exactly like anything else code enforcement, a nuisance, any other nuisance code enforcement. If we have to go in and do it, we will. We're not going to do that till we absolutely have to, and it becomes a life safety issue.
It talks about having a hearing, so it says the city administrator. Who's the city administrator?
That would be the city manager, so we can update that language.
And then, so where does the hearing take place? Because it talks about testifying. So who's at this hearing?
Well,
I don't think we have a hearing for other stuff, do we?
we don't, and we may need to take that out. There was I may not have gotten everything out. I will take a look at that. Let me just write myself a note. There was in this particular ordinance, the ability to have a hearing in front of city council. And we don't necessarily have hearings with anything else in front of city council for a nuisance. So that may be leftover language I missed, but I will get that cleaned up.
Because most of this was language that you pulled from a
It is,
existing ordinance from another city.
it 100% is an ordinance from another city and we pulled it out. We passed it around staff. The building official came to me and said, Angie, we don't let anybody else appeal a nuisance to city council. That's all they would do, right? So we have a process. You get a notice. You have 30 days to remediate that notice. If you call our code enforcement officer and say, hey, I need more time, I don't have the money right now, he does that. And then it is a while. If you still are just blatantly disregarding that notice, then you get a citation and then it moves to the court system. So I'm removed the part at staff's request of having council have to hear every appeal to that initial notice. I may have missed some language and I'll make sure that I go in and do that, get that out as well.
I think you spoke on it pretty well. This isn't intended for us to send our code enforcement guy to go on people's land and say, this tree needs to, that is not.
Absolutely
that
not.
is
It
definitely
is
not.
specific to.
I think if it is over what is outlined in this, right?
Yeah, 100%.
think
It's
it's-
hazardous public facilities, city buildings, sidewalks, easement, right of ways.
I would think we might be careful about over houses portion, because if a tree falls on one person's property from the other person's house, that's a bit of a civil matter. Are
Are you referring to us taking that tree down? Is that what you're?
No, if a tree had fallen that we had notified the homeowner of and said, hey, that's a dead tree, you need to take it down, and then it falls a few days later on the next person's house, that's a civil matter, correct?
Well, there's no liability on the city because they didn't take down their own dead tree.
Right, it's between them. I mean, we advised them, they didn't adhere to the advice, and then that's that.
But the onus is on us to look out for the
Absolutely.
safety of the
All the
citizens,
citizens.
and that's
Yes, sir.
what we're doing.
Yep. That's just wanted to make sure that we're clear. That sounds great.
Further discussion? All right, 7L, a presentation and discussion on a proposed social media participation policy for the city council. Our sponsor on this will be, again, our city manager, Dr. Smith.
So this is another one that a lot of cities have in place. It hasn't really been even an item of consideration in Gun Barrel. Council has not really used social media much, right? They haven't had an independent April Burns Place One social Facebook page, right? Or you haven't used it much since I started.
I do.
And I never see it. So maybe I just didn't know. Maybe there's that. But random posts here and there. But I know more and more y'all are wanting to use social media, and the city staff is in no way asking to monitor or determine what you put on there, right? You have an ethics policy. This really just says, hey, if you want to have one, it is important to note that city council does not lose their right as a resident just because you get elected as a council member, right? So what I've seen in the past, and we started looking at it, is council members will have their personal page, and there is a small caveat on their personal page that says, this is my personal page and in no way reflects the opinion of the city. And then they'll have a city council page. If you have city concerns, please go to this page. And they'll have a city council page that says, you know, Jennifer Jacobs Place Study. And I think, Jennifer, you have one or have had one in the past. And so then you citizens comment and that kind of stuff. But we do still have some laws that we have to follow. And if you go to the next slide, there we go. So we do still have some laws we have to follow, like Open Meetings Acts and Public Information Act information, and archiving that if you're speaking about city things. And that's something we have to archive all of our pages. That's something we can do for you. I don't really know how that works. Brooke's the master, but Brooke knows how that works. Somehow you make Brooke the thing, and then Brooke makes sure that they're tied to the social archiving, and we archive it just like we archive ours. Now, there are some rules with that. You can't hide, just like we can't delete, you can't delete that on your city page. You don't have to have a city page. You can do all of that from your personal page, but if you have a city page, there are some things we have to do. So all this policy does really is outline some recommendations on commenting on city accounts, because in this group, once 3 people comment, I have a quorum commenting, right? So that is then an open meeting. So we have to be real careful about that if you're doing it from your city page. It talks about how to use your personal account versus your city account. It makes some recommendations to ensure that we are meeting Open Meetings Act, Public Information Act, that we aren't violating anyone's First Amendment rights, right? So even though it's your page, people still have the ability, just like they do on our page, to say what they want. This policy would help us ensure there's a policy in place so that whoever Brooke is our community engagement coordinator, or whoever takes over that role, has managing the Facebook pages. It might be Janet, whoever. That's what I mean by that. Not that Brooke is leaving her community engagement role. Janet may be the person that archives y'all's pages, whoever that is. When they figure that out, because Brooke may poke me with a hot poker when I get off this dais for suggesting that she has to now do this too on top of everything else she does. They would then have the means to archive your page. There's some advice in there on using social media as a council member. And those things you're going to find are very in line with our ethics policy as they are, right? I'm not telling you what you can and can't say. Staff is not trying to drive that, but there is a sense of ethics that you guys agree to follow when you take on this role. And that just is in line with that, right? How we treat our residents and such. And then some general guidelines. Doesn't it mean, again, you do not lose your right as a resident when you agree to do this? You still have that, and you still have a personal page, and you can, do what you want to on that. And then how we retain it. And that's it. So there are retention records if you have a page. This just helps us make sure that whether it's the community engagement coordinator or the city secretary that ties this to our software we already use to archive all of our social media. It allows us to back that up, because once you're no longer on the dais, we still have to maintain that information for 2 years. So this just protects everybody. It would be a council policy. Janet would give us advice on how we adopt that just as a council policy. I've seen it adopted just as a policy. Hey, this is what council's going to do. I've seen it adopted as a resolution, much like your ethics policy. I don't think it has to be done that way, but this was just something for tonight. Again, we are not approving this. We are taking information and then would put it on the July meeting to be approved by council. If there is a taste for this, if there's not, that's okay too. We do still need to make sure that we somehow archive your city council pages if you're sharing city business, just to protect you more than anything. So
I'd be happy to give administrative access to my city page and have all of that archived.
Further discussion?
The campaign account and the city council account are separate.
have to be completely separate, yes. So if you would have to set up during campaign, set up a campaign page, and then once you're seated, have your council page.
So the page that I personally have used, I did set that up during my campaign, years ago now.
I'll confirm with the attorney to make sure. This policy does say that, but I can ask our city attorney his feelings on that.
Okay.
My council in the past had a campaign page because they got a lot of comments and they might have conversation there more as a resident than as the sitting council member. But I don't think if you have old campaign stuff on it, it's going to be a problem.
Yeah, I certainly don't want
I just think going forward, I think what this policy addresses is going forward. if you're campaigning, you would set up a separate page. So I think it's just going forward.
So the
but I'll
campaign
confirm
page
that.
would not need to be archived?
We do not archive your campaign page because you are not a sitting council member yet.
But usually you are when
If
you're
running for the
rerunning.
election.
And
Yeah,
then that still,
sometimes.
and that still can have conversations
question.
that happen. So that's why I think.
Yeah, that's a good
um,
question. I'm happy to
I
ask.
wonder why we would have to have them to be separate.
Yeah.
Now, if you're not a sitting council person, then I can understand not necessarily need to archive that at that moment, but
That's a great question. I don't know. I will definitely ask that question.
Thank you.
I did send this first draft to the city attorney. As you all know, the city attorney and I work very close together. So I did send it to him and say, if you have issues with this, you should tell me now before I do this. And he did not have any issues, but I will clarify the campaigning question. So
Further discussion? If none, 7M, discussion regarding final draft of ordinances, chapters 93 to 97. Our sponsor on this would be none other than our city manager, Dr. Smith, again.
next round of ordinances. So tonight is the rollout. And then we have the discussion about them, and then they would go to the attorney with any questions and then come to you, just like we approved some tonight. I try to do some smaller ones since we have to read all the ordinances into the record. Number one is Chapter 93, Food Establishment. This is an ordinance I'm going to need our city attorney to write. So where you see that in your copy, it says, please defer to city. As of July the 1st, House Bill 2844 completely changes the rules on food trucks. We still have some control, so I want to be very clear about that. We are still trying to figure out what that level of control is. I'm not gonna beat around any bushes. Everyone is in the same boat. We are trying to figure out what that is. Zoning ordinance can still overrule. I looked at 50 cities' pages in the last week, and every page says something a little different about how much control we have. So as we are implementing this next Wednesday, ours will kind of be on pause. We'll defer to direction from the city attorney. What we can't do is charge you a permit fee. There's no question about that. We have to send the truck to get a state permit. Food trucks are responsible for doing that. We can give them a permit. We can make them let us see it. I believe we also can still regulate fire and life safety requirements, but we're still trying to figure out what exactly that means. And so the city attorney and I have worked very closely since we started this entire process. And finally, I said, you know what? It'll be about July when we get to this one. Let's see what TML's recommendation is. Let's see how the law is shaking out before we rewrite it word for word. And then let's write one that allows us it's not a matter of control, but it's a matter of life safety, as much life safety control as we can, while still honoring the state law. So that one, nuisances, there were just general housekeeping updates. Junked vehicles, you recently updated that one, and our team is working through it. It has been working much better with the code enforcement and PD working together. Streets and sidewalks. So this one does have some information about culverts. I want to be very clear. Our intent was not to say every city resident has to get rid of their plastic culvert. We will not install plastic culverts going forward because they do break down very quickly. So I did some research on this. I had a resident call me and say, hey, Angie, do I have to get rid of my plastic culvert? Am I going to have to get rid of it in 60 days? Absolutely not. So this one has to have a little bit of tweaking of the language. I did that. It just basically redefines the responsibilities. The city has been installing culverts for $300. You buy your culvert, we send our guys, all of our equipment. It cost us, it's literally, I had been here about 4 days when Paul came to me and said, Angie, we charged $300 and this cost us $1,300. And so we've been kind of battling that and trying to figure that out. And it was always something that the city manager wasn't interested in addressing. I knew this was coming. We had an opportunity to do it. So we're doing it now as part of this process. Going forward, a resident will get a permit for a culvert. They will have it installed. We will just go out and make sure. A lot goes into making sure a culvert does what it's supposed to do. If it's an inch too high, it impedes drainage. If it's an inch too low, if it's not big enough, there's so many things that go into it. And Paul and Mike really are experts at this. able to shoot grades. So they're just going to go out and do the inspection for the contractor that puts it in. But I want to be crystal clear to council. The intent was never to say if you have a plastic culvert in 60 days, we're going to charge you to replace it. That was not the intent. The language, as it has been changed 90 times, and as different people got their hands on changing it, that's what it looked like. That was never the intent, and that has been adjusted, that there will be no new PVC or plastic culverts. So we've been doing metal culverts for several years. We haven't done PVC or plastic culverts in many years as a new install. So that will be updated. It was never intended to punish owners. And then outdoor lighting, again, just general housekeeping item, and adding a section on streetlights. But I'm happy, if you have feedback, you can email it to me. We can talk about it tonight, and then we'll get this to the city attorney to get it on your July agenda.
Discussion? Questions? If none, moving on. 8, economic development. 8A, the second reading of resolution number R-2026-012, approving a performance agreement by and between the Gun Barrel City Economic Development Corporation and Texas Plumbing Pros, LLC, in an amount not to exceed $25,000. I will read into the record the resolution. Resolution number R-2026-012, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Gun Barrel City, Texas, approving a performance agreement by and between the Gun Barrel City Economic Development Corporation and Texas Plumbing Pros, LLC, a Texas corporation authorized pursuant to sections 501.103 and 505.158 of the Texas Local Government Code, and providing for an immediate and effective date. Our sponsor on this, representing the EDC, will be our city manager, Dr. Smith.
So council, this is just the second reading. The next one is the take action. If you remember, they're going to make about $98,000 worth of improvements to their building over off of 198. This is a reimbursement grant, so they will, by the performance agreement, and it was attached in your packet, spend, I believe it's about $98,900. Once they have proofed that up with invoices and canceled checks, your EDC will issue a one-time payment of $25,000. They do have to, for a couple of years, provide their workforce compliance, that they have 2 full-time employees. They have more than that now, and I believe their intent, as you heard Brandon say at the last meeting, was to do that. An unusual part of this performance agreement that you may not have recognized is that a part of this performance agreement is for the EDC to pay for LifeLock for the owner of Texas Plumbing Pros for 5 years. When Stephen posted the initial agenda, the application in its entirety was in the packet. And so we talked to the attorney, we've talked to Brandon, and we will be paying for LifeLock for 5 years for him and the company to ensure that there's no issues with that. That's the right way to do it. Stephen did not redact it. It was an error in the middle of some transition, and one director leaving and he left on a Tuesday. We had to post the agenda on a Wednesday, and it just got missed. And I can almost promise you, Stephen will never, ever make that mistake again. But we even had to go to the website provider to get him to take it down. Stephen took it down immediately. Still was up. I was still able to access it. So Golden Shovel their president went in and had to help us get it down because we couldn't get it off the website. So it is what it is, but it's a part of the performance agreement, and the EDC will be responsible for paying for that for 5 years to help protect Brandon and the company.
Questions? Discussion?
Don't laugh at me, please. What is LifeLock?
Credit, to monitors your credit.
Monitor your credit.
It will protect
Yeah.
anyone using.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm super excited about this one. If y'all remember those pictures they saw, brought to us last month, the improvements that they're going to do to this
Yeah,
building and
it
how
looks
great it's
great.
going to be for the city. I'm really excited about it.
It'll be awesome.
Mhm.
I know Brandon a little bit. I think he's got a good company.
It's a great use of that small business incentive, right? That's why we developed that as a one-time payout for them to be able to do some work and for us to be able to help them with that. And this is best and highest use of those dollars, 100%, right?
Every building improved just makes our city more beautiful.
It does.
Absolutely. Okay, moving on. 8B, consider and take action to adopt resolution number R-2026-012, approving a performance agreement by and between the Gun Barrel City Economic Development Corporation and Texas Plumbing Pros LLC in an amount not to exceed $25,000. Do I have a motion?
I move that we adopt resolution number R-2026-012, approving a performance agreement by and between the Gun Barrel Economic Development Corporation and Texas Plumbing Pros LLC in an amount not to exceed $25,000.
Do I have a second?
Edwards, second.
I have a motion and a second. If no further discussion, vote for my left, please.
Burns, yes.
Lander, yes.
Jacobs, yes.
Roper, yes.
Edwards, yes.
Motion passes. I would just like to say before we adjourn is, and I would ask every citizen that when someone from the outside, a citizen, approaches you about something, to please do your homework. There are many ways to find out the truth. The truth is what we're always seeking from this dais, and we always will. There is every one of these council members, myself included, city manager, you can get information. All you got to do is call. Just make a phone call, do your homework. Just don't take the word and a crazy sign and stuff like that. I mean, there's a lot more to it than that. That's not what our country was founded on. That's not what this town is founded on. I love free speech, but this individual is not about free speech. Never answered a question, been questioned millions of times. It's just, that's not what this is. But I would ask the citizens, okay, you can only help so many, but I would ask all of the citizens, and I did this on my own page, please come to us, ask a question. It takes 30 seconds to pick up the phone. All of these council people are very, very available to answer any question on any topic, complaints, whatever. I know it's not always good. I'm not living in a fairy tale world, but I'm also not that everything that comes out of this individual's mouth is negative, negative, negative. I've never heard one positive thing about your community. Now, you live here for a reason, okay? I take it that you like living here, that you love your community. Otherwise, I don't think you'd live here. I don't know why anyone would put up with anyone just negative, negative, negative all the time. Please do your homework. Please ask questions. Don't just sign something because somebody said that this is the gospel. Find out the truth. Seek the truth. That's
And
all I would ask.
Just to add to that, unless you are on the city's official Facebook page, Facebook is not an official place to get your information from. Go to the city's website, call City Hall. There's, like he said, there's so many ways that you can get accurate information, and it is not in a Facebook group.
Any further discussion from staff? Thank you very much for coming. This meeting is now adjourned.